Breaking headline right here in New York City. A young American doctor back from Africa raced to a New York hospital, and tonight it is confirmed a new case of Ebola. This was the image late today, that ambulance rushing the physician from the aid group Doctors Without Borders to the hospital for testing. Dr. Craig Spencer recently returned from West Africa, alerting authorities to his stomach problems and his fever. And late today, first responders seen leaving that doctor's home wearing surgical masks. Dr. Besser is standing by. He's right here tonight. But first, ABC's Lindsay Davis leading us off.
Inside this ambulance rushing to Bellevue Hospital tonight, 33-year-old Craig Spencer, a Doctors Without Borders physician suffering from a fever and gastrointestinal symptoms, a confirmed case of Ebola right in the heart of New York City. Dr. Spencer had been in Guinea, one of 3 hot-zone countries. Last Thursday, he flew home, connecting through Brussels before arriving at New York's JFK airport. He had been monitoring his temperature and reported his fever this morning. Today, police officers in masks, neighbors anxious, a local councilman trying to calm fears.
Frankly, people in the neighborhood are scared, and some of them are panicked. In fact, I had one gentleman who wouldn't even shake my hand because he was scared.
The health department says a team of disease detectives immediately began to actively trace all of the patient's contacts to identify anyone who may be at potential risk.
Our understanding is very few people were in direct contact with him.
In recent days, Bellevue Hospital has been holding drills in case a possible Ebola patient comes through their door. Tonight, those plans going into motion.
It took only a few hours to determine that Spencer did indeed test positive for Ebola. Meanwhile, his fiancée said to be healthy, but remains here under quarantine. David.
Lindsay, thank you. Let's get right to ABC's chief medical editor, Dr. Richard Besser, back with us tonight. We now have confirmation it is Ebola. And Rich, when people see this headline, New York City, more than 8 million people, we all take the subway, come in contact with a lot of people. How do we put some fear to rest here?
Well, it's important to remember, even in such a crowded city, you only get Ebola if you have contact with the patient's body fluids. And this is a doctor. We expect that he contacted and reached out for help with the earliest symptom, fever, before he could spread the infection.
At the earliest warning signs. I want to take everyone at home back to that map tonight. The 4 hospitals across America that specialize in this, they've trained for Ebola. He was brought to a different hospital here in New York. But Rich, you were telling me you saw some encouraging signs.
I did. You know, even from the beginning here, the ambulance workers who picked him up, they were fully suited in full gear. So there'd be no exposure. The CDC team will be coming, and they'll work with the city to decide, do they keep him and treat him here in New York or send him to one of those other hospitals?